Alright, so guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm the XY guy. I apologize in advance for the bad lighting and camera, but whatever. Um, Today I'm gonna go over some of the illustration rares and like the cheap cards going up in price, and like kind of talk about why this is happening and why it kind of makes sense and kind of doesn't, and it's kind of annoying. So first of all, we have the cards that are being the buyouts. You know, the cards from the Discord channels that are targeted buys. Oh, we're gonna buy that card. Boom, spikes. You know, those cards, um, and the cards that are seemingly normal, like illustration rares or trainer gallery, Galarian gallery, whatever. Talking about the non-textured yellow border ones that just seemingly go up in price, you know, from 50 cents to whatever. So first off, oh yeah, I'm totally not qualified to talk about any of this. I have been in the hobby for 9 years playing Pokemon. I also collect myself, but yeah, I'm by no means like a financial expert. Like, this is just my opinion. So, what I think happen is, of course, you have the targeted buyouts, the Discord channels, like the cards that went from $5 all the way up to whatever, like the Drowsy, like to 90. Now it's coming back because there isn't actually that much demand for it. There is demand, but demand is kind of being driven by the fact that Drowsy has risen to that, to that high. Before Drowsy was when Drowsy was a $5 to $10 card, nobody wanted it. But then it rose, and everybody was like the Drowsy. Me personally, I didn't even know the Drowsy illustration. I like completely forgot about the entire card, so I still don't care. One important factor: when a card rises, because it's being bought out or whatever, why may happen. If you weren't planning on buying the card before it rised, please don't buy the card now. If the card tripled or quadrupled or whatever, and you weren't planning on buying the card, why FOMO and buy the card when we all know the chances that you actually losing money on it is pretty big, and all the people buying out the cards are selling them off and selling them to you. So, okay, the buyouts, those happen. We all know that. We can see that. A lot of illustration rares have been bought out. But then you go onto some cards that seemingly have risen in value, but there's no like obvious buyout. There's an increase in sales and popularity, but there's no like clear buyout. So why does this happen? And how? Okay, so why does this happen and how? First of all, we have way more regular consumers and Pokemon fans in the hobby. Because TCG Pocket, because Surging Sparks. I don't know if it's still because of Surging Sparks. People were saying that the hype, Pikachu, whatever. I don't know if that's true, but there is a lot more hype in the hobby and more people coming in and in the hobby right now as we speak. So more people.
So the part you're seeing right now was literally unhearable. Whatever I was saying. So I was basically saying when you have more people entering the hobby and only a small amount of cards increasing to hit the market, of course that's gonna drive cards to go up. More people, same amount of cards, maybe just a little more amount of cards because packs are being opened, but it's still not enough to stop cards from going up.
It's kind of obvious cards go up when more people come in. So, trainer galleries and Galarian galleries and cheap illustration rares. A lot of people see cheap cards right now and they're like, oh, that might be the next Drowsy. They're kind of looking for the next Drowsy or the next Groudon or like the next card to have a big spike and hit $100, from like 20 to 30 bucks or whatever. It could be $1. People are just buying anything that's cheap right now or that may rise. So all the super cheap illustration rares, it wouldn't surprise me but almost every illustration rare is gonna hit $5 or higher. It wouldn't surprise me, because the regular consumers, not the people who buy out the cards, but the regular consumers are also looking online or at conventions or on YouTube. They're seeing a lot of videos about cheap cards to buy, what to buy in this market, what to buy in the bull market, and I'm talking about singles, not sealed product, because sealed is also up, but it's a lot more safe. So there's a lot more attention to these seemingly normal, cheaper cards than there actually should be, or than there was. And people see cards now that are 50 to 60 cents and think, wow, that card is cheap. That's pretty nice artwork. The card is 2 years old. And I saw the guy on YouTube talk about it, or whatever, how they found out about the card, and they're like, oh, I should buy a couple of copies. And this happens maybe to 30 to 100 people. They see a card. Oh, I'm going to buy that card. I'm going to buy 3 copies. I'm going to buy 10 copies. And then when 30 people buy 10 copies, 300 copies just vanish, And they don't even have to buy 10 copies. They could also just buy 5 copies or 1 copy. It's like when there's so much attention to cheap illustration rares and cheap cards, right? And there's so much attention to cheap illustration rares and cheap cards that anything that's cheap, that has even remotely like normal artwork, just goes up. Even the ones with bad artwork are kind of going up, The Japanese cards are going up. Older cards are going up. I'm kind of sad like that all the X and Y full arts are going up because I need a lot of them still, but whatever. Everything is going up. I think I saw the Greninja Break hit $12 or something. The card was $6 for like 7 to 8 years. Like after its like playability was lost, after it wasn't good anymore and like standard and expanded, like the card went too low, $5 to $6. But whatever. Everything is going up. There are more people in the hobby. There are more regular consumers looking for good deals or cheap cards. They're buying them, and the prices go up. It's basically that. So what is my opinion on these cards? Will they hold their value? Well, a lot of these illustration rares, trainer gallery, Galarian gallery, you get it, the special artwork thingies that have risen like 10x or 5x, and they went from a couple dollars all the way to 10. I don't know. The older ones, I especially don't know. They might hold. They might drop just a teensy bit. Some of those were really underrated. Like the Charizard Trainer Gallery was like $2. It's a nice card, pretty good artwork. Even Charizard, like I think people are kind of like holding back on Charizard because like he was the card or the Pokemon everybody wanted, and then like because everybody wanted it, like everybody kind of started hating it. So. But still, like a nice Charizard artwork for $2. But then you look at stuff like the Drowsy that is already coming down, and other examples like the Houndour, I believe, went from a couple dollars all the way to 30 now. I think those cards are gonna be the cards that will fall the most. They'll go to 90, like the Drowsy. The Drowsy's coming back to 60 now. I wouldn't be surprised if Drowsy just comes back to a $30 card, It's like there's so much hype, but there isn't that much demand for Drowsy. There's demand, but there's not enough to sustain the price. There is demand for Drowsy, but there's not enough demand for people to actually pay $90 for the Drowsy. Of course, a couple people will FOMO, they'll buy the Drowsy, or they'll see the Drowsy and be like, oh, sure, I'll buy Drowsy, or they'll try to do the grading play, which of course I understand that's a thing. Don't really exactly know how it works. I just know you just buy a clean copy, send it off to PSA, and hopefully gets a 10. Otherwise, you like sell it as it is, or you break it out of the slab and then you sell it, whatever. Maybe you lose a couple bucks. But it's like a lot of these cards will go down. So please, guys, don't FOMO unless it's like a card you really don't care paying over. So yeah, that's kind of my take. Of course, you have buyouts, but regular consumers are also the problem. There are too many of us as of now in the hobby with the amount of supply there is. But not only that, everyone is looking for the next Tyranitar, the next Groudon, the next Magikarp, They're all just looking at it. So everyone is looking for the next big card. That every small card is kind of going up right now. And they're not becoming the new big card, but they are like doubling or tripling or quadrupling in value. Like the Palafin illustration where I think that card was 50 cents on TCG Player. I know it was on Card Market for like 10 cents. And now on Card Market it's like 50 cents, and on TCG Player it's actually $2.50. Card Market is the European TCG Player, basically. So yeah, that card also more than 5x, like 5x, maybe a little more even, and nobody's talking about it because it's still a cheap card. But even the Palafin has increased 5 times. That's 5 times. That's 500%. That's pretty insane gains on such a cheap card. So yeah, that's kind of my opinion. Regular consumers and of course buyouts, but mainly regular consumers looking for the next big card. So yeah, that's kind of my take. Um, Let me know what you think. Am I right? Am I wrong? What are your opinions on the buyouts and the current hype for Pokemon? And when do you think the hype will die down? Will this take another year to the 30th anniversary? Will it taper off after the 30th anniversary? Will it just keep on going for like this for a couple of years? I think it's clear nobody really knows. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you in the next one.